Hi, this is Cheryl Lampard of Knitter Matters. You want to learn to knit, but you're not sure where to start? Well, these are the 5 questions that beginners ask me most often. The first one is, how do I make a slip knot? And it's really super easy. You want the tail of the yarn sort of coming to the left. You want the rest of the yarn this way. You loop it, then hold it with your thumb and forefinger and bring that through the back, and then pull. And you can adjust that to the size that you want. Let me do it one more time for you. But the slip knot, this way round, hold it, yarn that's coming from the ball of wool through the back and pull. And then you can get that where you want it. So that's the first thing. And we're going to leave that slip knot where it is, because the next thing is, how do I cast on? Well, the first thing is we put our slip knot on the left hand needle. That's on the left hand needle. There's many ways to cast on, but I'm going to show you a very easy cast on that's called a knit on cast on. Master this and then you'll be able to knit. So we're going in through the left side of the loop that's on the needle, that way round. The yarn that's coming from the ball of wool, we're going to loop round the back of that right hand needle, bring it through the V of the 2 needles, and then pull it through. And at this point, you're going to dip the left hand needle into the loop and put it on the left hand needle. I'm going to do a few more of those so that you can really see. So we're going in the left side of the loop that's on the left hand needle. We're going underneath the right hand needle, the tip of the right hand needle, over and through those 2 points, creating that sort of V shape, and pulling that yarn through. Then we're going to just dip the point of the left hand needle and put it through the loop that's on the right hand needle. So now it's on the left hand needle. Let me do a few more, and then we can actually start some knitting. I'm doing it really slowly for you, and the more you do, the more you'll build up speed. Okay. If I'm teaching, I really like to cast on for my knitters first and then have them knit. But sometimes you're going to need to cast on your own. So this hopefully will help you do it. Okay. Got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's have 10 stitches on. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 more. Okay. That's called a knit on cast on. 1 more. So if you can do that, you can knit. So the second question, the third question is, how do I do a knit stitch? So there's a little rhyme that goes with this that might help you to remember. In through the front door, run around the back, out through the window, and off jumps Jack. So what we're doing, we're going into the loop, which is our stitch. In this case, it's the second one on the left-hand needle. So we've gone in through the front door. Now we've run around the back. Then we're going out through the window, off jumps Jack. Now you've got 2 stitches on your right-hand needle. You transfer them from the left to the right, and then knitted stitches. Okay, in again. In through the front door, run round the back, out through the window, and off jumps Jack. In through the front door, run around the back, out through the window, and off jumps Jack. So what we're doing, we're creating, that's what knitting is. It's a series of loops and knots, essentially. In through the front door, run round the back, out through the window, and off jumps Jack. In through the front door, run around the back, out through the window, and off jumps Jack. Okay. I am going to do one more row of that, and I'm going to do it a little faster because I then want to show you number 4, which is how to do the bind off. So I'm just doing exactly the same. I'm just going a little bit faster because I want a couple of rows of knitting on my needles. If you lose track of where you are in terms of how many knitted rows you've done, when you do this type of cast on, your tail will always be on the left hand side. That does vary depending on your cast ons, but on this one it will be on the left side. So when you see it again on the needle like this and your tail is to the left, you know you're about to do, if you will, a right side row. Not that we're worried about that at the moment. So now number 4 is how do I bind off? The easiest way is to go in, if you like, through the front door, run round the back, out through the window, and off jumps Jack. We're going to do that so that we've got 2 stitches on the right hand needle, and then we're going to simply get the tip of the left hand needle, get it in to the left side of the stitch, the first stitch on the needle, and pass it over that second stitch. And I'm going to do it for the length of this row. So exactly doing a knitted stitch, you're just putting 2 stitches on your right hand needle, passing that over, whoops, and off the needle. So you're literally just knitting and passing the first stitch over the second one, if you like. And as you go along, the stitches come off the needle in that order. So you're not doing anything different to what you've done before, except just passing that stitch over that needle. So you're binding off 1 stitch each time. Right. Now, when you get to that last stitch, what I'm going to do here is just cut my yarn, and then the easiest thing to do, you have the cut piece here. I'm just going to pass that through the loop that's just coming off the needle. There you go. So you've done a slip knot, you've cast on, you've done a couple of rows of knit stitches, and then you've bound off. Now the last thing, number 5, is how do I weave in the ends? Well, I'm going to go to a smaller piece here because it's just a lot easier to show you. So this is a little coaster that I've made. I'm going to get myself a tapestry needle, or sometimes it's called a bodkin or a yarn needle, but I tend to refer to it as a tapestry needle. We're going to thread that cast off, that bound off thread there where I've cut that off, and we're going to flip this over. Now there's various ways to weave in. The easiest one, if you're actually just doing it something like a coaster, is just to go down sort of the side of the work. And what I'm doing is I'm literally just running down the side of the work. If you don't want to do it like that, you can follow the line of the stitching. What you don't want to do is have it show through on the right side, and that's not, as you can see, that's not. So you can follow the line of the stitches here for a little while, just work in and out, and then it's going to go nowhere after you've done a few stitches like that, and you can't see it from the right side, and that's what you want. And then you can, I would do sort of maybe 7 or 8 stitches. Sometimes you can do it diagonally, but just follow the line of the stitches. And by the time you've done that and maybe you've washed it, it's not going to go anywhere. And again, you can't see that from the right side, which is what we're trying to achieve. But on something like this piece, where it's all garter stitch, you could easily just run that down the side if you don't want to have to fuss about going in and out for the stitches. For a garment, I would do that, but for a coaster, simple coaster, just run it down the side, but do it from the wrong side or whatever you deem to be the wrong side. Okay, so that's weaving in your ends. So just as a quick recap, at the end, we've done our slip knot, which was here. We've done our knit on, cast on. We've done the knit stitch. We did 2 rows of knit stitch and we bound off, and then we wove in our ends. And obviously I would do the same on this end too. So I hope that's a helpful little recap of the top 5 things that beginners ask. Thanks for watching and see you again. Bye-bye.